Oh, little Mario, you've grown so much. Almost as much as that little Zelda girl over there.
Let's go! Get it as the little Mario.
I get it. That was clever.
And what you did was clever because this episode is which Nintendo series has evolved the most.
Now,
also known as growing, changing, adapting.
Right, and that's been one of the things that when we talked about doing this episode has been hardest for me to think about because like by evolving, what exactly are we talking about? Because it could mean is it the changes that a series has overgone, like as far as like just the main series,
right?
And how it's different from where it began,
or is it just the craziest spin-off?
Yeah, or is it like how crazy it spun off, or is it games progressively getting better every time?
I see. Like the most iterations.
Yeah.
No,
and
else
then
mine will totally not work.
And same with mine. And or is it like if a series makes wide leaps and bounds, is that the same thing, or is it not because evolution is a slow process? I don't know.
Yeah, it takes billions of years.
Yeah, it takes billions of years for a game to get better. Well, wouldn't that be bad? If we like video gaming has only been around for what 50 years maybe. If we are in the stage in which like every single game was bad,
yes,
and we just had to wait billions of years to get a good game.
All right, well, I think the definition that will work for both of us and for this episode is the series that has had the most improvement from entry 1 in the main line of the series to the current entry in the series.
I think that's fair.
Who shall go first?
Why don't you go first?
All right, Simeon. This one's a little bit crazy, but I'm talking about Kid Icarus. You know, the Nintendo franchise Kid Icarus. It's been 2.5 games, NES, 3DS, and the half one was the Game Boy one.
Right.
Myths and Monsters. So we're going to talk about how it started out and what it is today. So it started out as two-dimensional, obviously. Started out with some very bad platforming and controls. This game came out with a lot of other NES games that had better controls and better platforming. I can't believe that Nintendo made both Super Mario Bros. And Kid Icarus, because there is a lot of jumping and landing to do in Kid Icarus, and it's deadly. It's very scary.
Is it as deadly as Ice Climbers, which Nintendo also made?
Which one is better? Well, it's probably as broken as Ice Climbers, but it comes with a built-in fix. You would slide off just about every platform you ever tried to jump on, but what you have to do is hold up. Point your arrow up while you're in the air, and then you land and you stick. So it's a constant part of playing the game. Moving, jumping, holding up, landing, and even then it's difficult. So very bad controls. It started off as a Metroid knockoff. The design of the game looked a lot like Metroid. There are enemies lifted straight out of Metroid. Sprites are just borrowed right from that game. And then a lot of the levels are very vertical. It's a very verticality based game where you have to climb up and do platforming up, and it looks a lot like all of the, cylindrical Metroid
Ice Climbers.
Yeah. So it didn't have much personality because a lot of its aspects were copied. And then it also has no story. No story whatsoever. You just dropped into the first level, you beat the bad guys, and that was Kid Icarus.
Yay.
Getting emotional.
So how did it evolve?
Well, it didn't do it gradually. It, as Kid Icarus Pitt himself said in the trailer for Uprising, sorry to keep you guys waiting. It was 20 years or something
Holy
like that,
cow.
25 years. Now it's 3D. It has beautiful visuals and a lot of varied worlds. You do a ton of traveling in that game. You see all different kinds of designs. There's different bad controls. It's not good controls now. It's different bad controls.
Different bad.
Yes. Remember, this game actually shipped with a stand for your 3DS.
Right.
And it was just very painful to play the game. You used the circle pad and you aimed with the stylus. So all the way to the 3DS is in your left hand. You'd get cramps really easily. Even with the stand, it was tough. This game was very original. Can't really think of much that was copied. The only thing is like a few of the Metroid enemies were referenced.
Oh, sure.
They're still in there just for old time's sake. But there's so many new creatures in that game. There's a very strong storyline now as opposed to no storyline. Mm-hmm. It was entertaining. It was pretty much constantly present. Characters are always talking around you, yet it still wasn't too distracting. It was entertaining. Good voice acting. Whole big cast of voice actors in this game, and that is rare for a Nintendo series. Lots of humor. Different kinds of combat now, and then in this game there's melee and distance combat.
Mm-hmm. Whereas before you just had the arrows.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And there's also...
That was an arrow.
Good.
Going like... I don't know how that's...
Little drummer boy. Oh boy. What else? Where in the world was they? There's ground and aerial traversal, whereas Pit could pretty much not fly at all in the first game, except for like if you got all the upgrades towards the very end. Now you're flying around half of this game pretty much in Kid Icarus Uprising. There's online multiplayer, also a little bit rare for Nintendo games, getting a little more common though. And then there's just this huge suite of unlockables, just like a Smash Bros. Game, very Sakurai-ish. So much content in this game. So it really couldn't look much different from the original, except, there's an angel, there's demonic bad people. That's about it. The entire gameplay has changed.
Oh, that is pretty radical. Now, I took a similar approach because mine was obviously not super gradual. Mine was a little bit more gradual, and I looked at change over time and adding without taking away, getting progressively better. Mm-hmm. So I took the Smash Brothers series.
Sakurai.
Yeah, Sakurai again. Way to go. And it was kind of a tough decision for me because the more I thought about the different Nintendo franchises, the more I've seen them just kind of like either like go up or like just barely.
Nice.
They really haven't changed a whole lot.
Neither of your hand gestures were in the camera, so
Yeah.
that was very good too.
They either gone like this or just like, they really haven't changed a lot from their original forms given the amount of time that they've had. Mario, Zelda, I mean, they're still good, but their originals were, really good and they still stand up. Or they've like made a full circle.
Yeah.
Like Zelda has, like, oh, we went from 2D to 3D and now we're still doing both at the same time.
Good point.
It's just circular. So with Smash Bros, the original was good. It really kind of revolutionized fighting games where, as opposed to being based off of like boxing or karate, it was based off of like sumo.
Or life meters, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't life meter based. You were trying to knock the other person off.
Sumo.
Yeah, sumo. Did you know that? I can't remember if somebody said that was a real deal or they made that comparison. But yeah, it's more like sumo where you try and push your opponent out of the ring.
It's true.
Yeah.
Have you seen Jimmy Fallon's big sumo suit
No.
games that he plays with celebrities?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no, I did see the one where they played Flippy Cup.
Oh.
But.
I was talking about actual, like they draw a circle, they try to push each other out.
Oh, really?
Pretty funny.
That is fantastic. I will have to look those up. So the original was good. They really stepped it up with Melee. Melee is a game that people still play today.
Yeah.
They took the multiplayer up a notch. Multiplayer was better. The controls were just a lot smoother, introduced air dodging. You still see organized tournaments, whereas like the original Smash Bros., when the original Smash Bros. Came out, we were just like, oh, you know, let's go over to so-and-so's and play. When Melee came out, we were like, let's go to a tournament and compete.
Let's get serious.
Let's get serious.
Commentate it.
And they stepped it up again in Brawl. I know it had issues and people were like, Melee's the best.
Should I do my tripping thing again where I break your ankles?
No, please don't. That was painful. They just really expanded it, and they took the one player experience up a huge notch. Whereas with Melee, you know, you still had the one player experience, but it was just kind of pretty minimalist, pretty forgettable.
Do you remember waking up the morning of that announcement where you got onto Brawl Dojo and the daily update was like in a black background this time, and it was talking about the Subspace Emissary for the first time?
I don't remember that specific one.
Okay. It was very iconic to me.
It was a big deal because it actually felt like a full-fledged story mode.
Yeah.
And they just made what was bigger. And then Smash Bros. 4 came out, and it really took Smash Bros. Into the modern era of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
It took everything that fighting games have now, and it brought it together. And I'm talking about online multiplayer, which Brawl had. But how many people, I mean, I know you did.
It might as well not have had it.
Yeah, it might as well not have had it. I did not play a single match. In Brawl online. Whereas with Smash Bros. 4, of course I play it online.
Mm-hmm.
There's updates.
Mm-hmm.
They actually update the game. Oh, this is broken. Let's fix it.
That makes Smash 4 probably their most modern game.
It really
has
is.
The most qualities that the games of their competitors do.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think it's, I would say, even more advanced than a lot of the fighting games now, because I think a lot of fighting games now still don't issue updates. I know some of them do, but Smash Brothers has issued a lot of balancing updates, and they've really taken the care to refine the game as it goes.
And they let us pick a character. That's pretty cool.
That's true. Yeah, they allowed us to say, hey, who do you want in this game? And we're like, Shovel Knight, Shovel Knight. They're like, ha ha,
no.
No.
Good points.
Yeah, so and there's DLC too. So I say, you know, Smash Brothers from the original is pretty good, really basic, and over time it just grew into this.
Very basic. We know, awesome. Guys. We played it recently.
Yes. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, which one do you think evolved more? Let's hear about it.
Yes, go ahead and comment in the comment section. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Leave us a like.
Thanks for helping us out and for being part of the crew. We'll see you next time.
Signing out!